All right, module 2. Today I am in my beautiful seafoam scrubs today. Looking forward to diving in a little bit more here on why we should get into medical sales. We'll go ahead and just kind of talk about the elephant in the room. I mean, this is a super lucrative field, so you're in the right spot. You know, you might have a job you just hate right now, probably not making the kind of money you want. And I know when I started researching this, I was just, blown away. I mean, there's a lot of money in sales, but in medical sales specifically, if you make it into medical sales like we are, they know that you're smart and that you can understand all the concepts and be able to present to a doctor and get him to change his mind from what he's using to use what you have to offer. And so that kind of skill is highly compensated. And so, that's the gist of why there's so much money in medical sales. It's for the sharpest of salespeople, which you guys will be. Just a little bit of statistics here. This is on a survey of medreps.com. I think this was even a year ago or so, but I mean, look at this total compensation, $156,000 a year. And that's average with a base of 95,000. So you can imagine, I mean, there's guys up there making 300, there's even 400, maybe even $500,000, dollars a year. So you really need to think about when you're going through this course and listening to my advice, and when you think about the hurdles and how hard it is, to break in, you got to understand that this is worth the effort. Really sit back and visualize what your life would look like. What kind of car would you drive? Where would you live? Like what neighborhood? Vacations, what would you do? So really kind of visualize what your life could look like and what it will look like if you stick with it and do the process. It's just life-changing. It's just amazing. So here's just some stuff. I threw together some pictures of just some of the awesome stuff I've been able to do. Up here in the top left, this is me and my wife at Augusta National at the Masters, just having the best time. Got a bunch of cups here. Beers are like $2, so it's just incredible. So much fun. You're just in the most beautiful environment, following around the best golfers, drinking beer, just having a blast. Here's just a nice picture of me and my family doing family photos. Hired someone to do that on a beautiful fall morning here in Nashville. In the middle, here's me and my buddies. We go on a couple trips a year. This was last year. We went and all flew to Breckenridge, had guys from Florida, San Francisco, Texas, all got together and just did some awesome stuff. Went to really nice restaurants at night, did brewery tours on bikes during the day. And then we rented a party bus to drive us down here to Red Rocks for an awesome concert. So just super fun trip. Do another guys trip every year down here on the right, which is deep sea fishing. Caught a beautiful mahi dolphin there. It's just incredible. I mean, we have a captain that drives the boat and a first mate, which is the guy that's behind me. So really all I'm doing there is drinking beer, laughing with my friends, playing music, and when the reel goes off, who's ever up next gets to reel in the fish. So it's just incredible. Up here, top right, this was an awesome trip to St. John, just with some awesome friends. My college roommate on the right, he's an investment banker now in San Francisco, and guy in the middle here is another investment mergers and acquisitions guy. And my friend here on the left, he followed my path, and he ended up now moving into real estate. So he has like 5-6 Airbnbs here in Nashville and a property management company, and just he's doing great by following the path that I started him on. So a little bit more about the lifestyle, and we'll get into this in a little more. But this is the top of medical sales. This is a big boy job, so you're not going to be getting super micromanaged, in my experience, and most people I know. If you're doing your job, they're not going to be all over you. You're going to be able to have time if you're not too busy. Go to the gym in the afternoon or go run some errands, whatever you got to do. It's amazing. You're not just trapped in a cubicle, and you're not, you're not tied to a desk or anything like that. Variety, this is just another awesome perk of the job, because you just do different things all the time. You're not just doing one thing. So could be in the operating room all day, could be in an office talking to a doctor, or in their clinic over here, could be catering, could be bringing in breakfast or lunch or something like that. So it's just really cool to look at your schedule and kind of see the different things you've got lined up. Variety, like I just mentioned, is really one of the basic human needs. So you could just be around the house one day doing home office stuff, maybe helping out with your family. You could be in the operating room all day. I mean, I've had plenty of 12-hour days in the operating room, but that's fine. That's where you're getting paid. Some mornings you might wake up, you might be out real early. You might have a 6:30 breakfast, meeting with a guy before he has surgery, meeting with an office. It's just always different, and that's really cool. One of the great perks about this job is I really think it is the pinnacle of sales. I mean, I'm so proud to tell people what I do. Sure, wearing scrubs is cool, but it's just a very prestigious job, and it feels great because, like I've said, I mean, I had a political science degree working in a cubicle refinancing mobile homes, and my life could have been like that forever. And it just doesn't have the same ring as spinal implant medical device sales consultant. There's other jobs maybe you could make more money, like selling software, something, or some kind of distributor of steel or lubricant oil, stuff like that. But it's just super cool when someone asks you what you do and then they want to know more. It's just a great feeling. So it really is the pinnacle of sales, and something that you can really be proud of when you tell people. One of the great things is, I put down here at the bottom, wearing scrubs or pajamas. So you save a lot of money. You're not wearing fancy suits or anything like that. You have these scrubs on from the hospital. It's great. But, you work with some of the smartest people and really get to know these renowned surgeons in whatever field you're working with, and get to know them on a personal level. Once I've been able to be in the operating room and really earn trust and grow business with a doctor, you become friends. I mean, there's guys that I text message with and send memes that are probably not appropriate and all that kind of stuff. I've gone to football games with some of my customers, taken party buses, just done some really cool stuff. You really get to become friends with them once you've earned their trust in the operating room, and it feels great. You sell products that matter. There's a product that I sell that's specifically for pediatric patients, kids, and I've done a lot of cases where, looking back, I don't do these anymore, and I'm kind of glad I have kids, because being in an operating room and you see this, 8-year-old or 5-year-old getting wheeled in, and they have their lovey, and it's really sad, but you're there to help and make their life better. And it's just an incredible feeling that here you are with no special education or anything like that, and you're there to make sure that this case, that the doctor's got everything he could possibly need to ensure that this little 5-year-old gets out of that operating room in the quickest amount of time, with a successful surgery with the surgeon. And that doctor they're not even going to ask you anything before the surgery. They're just going to trust that you have everything ready to rock and that you're going to be on your A game and be a resource to them in the operating room. And it's just the best feeling. I mean, I have partners that have had their family members, their parents, being in those surgeries, and they're not necessarily the one in there. It's kind of a conflict of interest, but I've been in there with one of my partner's relatives, and it's just a really rewarding position to be in, to be able to say, hey, this case went perfect. Your loved one is in good hands, and they should recover just fine. So selling products, it really does matter, because like I said, you could make a ton of money selling software, but at the end of the day, you're just getting a signature on a purchase order, and then you're moving on to the next thing. You're not putting too much thought into it. You're helping a business a little bit, but you're not helping lives. So really think about that again when you're going through this and you're thinking about how you want to make this your career, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get in. So what do I do? In this top left picture, this isn't me, but it's a cool picture because it really shows how ingrained you are. You're not scrubbed in like the doctor is, but you're right there next to the table. And you're the one that is telling this person with this instrument in their hand what to hand the doctor next. So you have all that stuff right there on the Mayo stand, and you're telling them what to give the doctor next. So this doctor relies on you to keep this case going smoothly and fast, making sure that the next step in the procedure, you already have this person prepared for that, so that they're not standing around waiting around for the next step of the surgery. And so this is kind of a finished product for what I sell. There's a lot of different jobs, but in what I do, this is the gist of it, is realigning someone's spine, making it straight. This is a lumbar disc that we put a little spacer in to give them height and relieve pain that is being caused by that deflated disc on the nerve roots. That's really in the weeds, but it just kind of also goes to show what you will learn and be able to talk about it fluidly. It's just awesome. I mean, I never would have guessed I would ever be talking about something like this. And so these are what I sell. These are the pedicle screws that go into the vertebral bodies, and these are rods that connect those screws. And what that does is it locks all these bones in place so that they can fuse. This is all bone now. This patient won't be moving in this area, but they're still able to walk. They're still able to move. They just might not have as much flexibility as you and I. And now all their pain's gone away because, like I said, we have these discs that are now immobile and they're not causing any pain on the nerves. So satisfaction, we kind of touched on this before, but another great story is I have a new surgeon I'm working with, kind of a younger guy and a real visionary ahead of his time. And he's doing some procedures that were new to me, and I was nervous to learn it because I'd never done it before. And it's another awesome part of this job is going into a surgery, being nervous, making sure that you've studied up, you've handled every instrument, you know how everything works. And then the surgery goes great. And the doctor even took me up the next day and said, hey, I want you to see this patient because of how amazing they're doing. And the patient was literally in tears. They were in pain for so long, and now they were up and moving, and they were literally going to move. They were going to leave that day. So it's just so great, and it's so satisfying to play a part in it. Not every surgery is going to be like that. A lot of them are going to be a chip shot, no big deal. But to have those kind of stories is just incredible. And one of my favorite things is, after the day after a surgery or the next time I see him, I ask them how that patient's doing. How is Miss So-and-so doing after her surgery? And, they're going to tell you, they're going to give you the feedback. And it's just really cool to play a part in that. So this is just a little more statistics, talking about how us medical sales professionals really value the relationship we have. And a lot of people in my shoes, that outside of the money, they just love the fact that they have such a great relationship with a healthcare provider. You're not just going to be with the surgeon all the time. You're going to make friends with all of the staff. One of the cool things about this job, and another reason why it pays so well, is you have to be able to talk to all different people in the hospital. So when I bring a bunch of instruments into the hospital, they're going to get washed by someone that's making minimum wage. And you want to build relationships with all those people. So, it might be, an 80-year-old lady, and you want to be able to talk to him and say, hey, how was your weekend? I know your grandson's playing football. Did he have a game this weekend? Just cool stuff like that. You have nurses. We've been able to do awesome things where we'll teach them something and take them to a happy hour and be able to really build relationships with people. So they're going to be able to help you, where when the doctor's talking about you, they're going to say, oh, I love that guy. I love that girl. You really can grow your business by doing that. So we'll talk a little bit more about money. One thing I think that separates a little bit medical sales compared to maybe pharmaceuticals, which is also a great realm to get into, is uncapped commissions. So it's really up to you on how much you want to work. If you're doing a good job and you're hitting quota, that's great. But if you want to go above and beyond, even if you hit your quota 20 days into the month and it's a 30-day month, you're going to have plenty of opportunity to go above and beyond and make more money and get those year-end bonuses, or there's kind of like kickers. If you're X amount over quota, you're going to get more commission on those dollars. It just opens up a world of opportunities. You can move up to a regional manager or vice president of sales. Most of these big executives had a stint in sales. It is crucial to any business. So we'll talks a little bit more about more statistics on 62% of the sales force's reps really talk about how work-life balance is really crucial to them. They're not just working 80 hours a week every single week. It can vary, and it creates that nice work-life balance where you're able to set your schedule. You got all these different realms of medical sales that we'll get into, but you might have a multi-state territory where you're in your car making phone calls, listening to podcasts, and traveling around to multi-state. You might have a small territory like me. I'm home every night. Got about 6 hospitals I mainly go to. And I spend some time here in the home office working on paperwork and planning out my week and month, where I'm setting up lunches and setting up meetings. So, it's just really cool to be able to look at your schedule for the coming week of what you've set up and see, what's different. Do you have a dinner? Are you taking a guy to a nice restaurant? It's just really cool to be able to plan all that different variety out. No micromanaging, like I mentioned, I'm sure there are micromanagers out there in this, but in general, this is a big boy job. And so you're not going to have someone calling you every day, like in some other job, saying, where are you going today? What are you doing? It's just not like that, because if they've hired you, they believe in you, and they know you're out there working. So if you're doing a great job and they know it, there's awesome perks from that. Like, if you don't have much going on Friday, knock out what you need to do, take a long weekend, go to the lake, go out of town, go to a football game, an away game, just whatever it might be. You can go play golf with your buddies. just this perk can't be understated. It's just kind of how it's always been in medical sales. So just one awesome other reason to get into this.